Hi, how are you all doing? I hope every one of you had a great summer break with plenty of time to relax. But since we are back to university, let's pick up from where we left. The last time we talked about blood module, and I hope that it helped you guys. Now we are moving on to, dare I say, the hardest module of first year, locomotor. So grab your pens and paper and let's get ready. Locomotor, again, like all the other, is a 9 weeks long module with a total of 8 subjects, with anatomy holding the highest weightage. It can be the most difficult subject if you don't cater it properly. You will be studying bones, muscles, blood supply, innervation, and clinicals. But what exactly will you be questioned for? When asked about bones, you need to know the correct orientation of the bone. Like, you don't want to be holding a fibula upside down. Trust me. Next is knowing the bony landmarks that complement why you chose this orientation of the bone as the correct one. For example, for a scapula, the acromion process should be towards the medial side in its correct orientation. Similarly, for a humerus, the radial fossa should be distal to your axial skeleton. Bones are not very high yield, but every examiner starts with them, and obviously they complement your other structures like muscle attachment and blood supply, so learn them correctly. Make use of bone models for tactile memory. You can get it from your anatomy museum or any other shop. Next on are muscles. There are more than 30 muscles that you will encounter. You don't have to learn all, but you have to learn most. You need to know the insertion, origin, action, as well as innervation of the muscles. And since it's very high yield, no examiner will miss on it. Lastly, the hardest part in anatomy is learning the blood vessels and innervation. You need to know branches, tributaries, and course of every vessel. And the best way to do it is track your way down from the origin. Every artery will start from your aorta. Every vein will start from vena cava, and every nerve will start from the spinal cord. Navigate your path all the way from the starting. It's better that you focus on this after you've done your muscles, and I advise you to go for videos rather than going through several pages of the book. For this reason, I have linked a document down in the description that contain links to all the resources and OSPs that I use to help me with anatomy. It's completely free, so do check it out. Other than this, there are two books that students use. One is Gray's Anatomy and other is BD Chaurasia. Honestly, I felt Gray's was more structured and it correlated with our lectures, so I used it as my main book. BD has great clinicals and contains a separate heading for bone landmarks, which Gray's doesn't. But it does also have so much additional information that nobody actually asks. Another thing that I want to talk about is that you have two sections in anatomy, upper limb and lower limb. If you haven't done upper limb and your classes have moved on to lower limb, you can move on to lower limb as well. That's fine. I actually found upper limb easier only after I was done with lower limb. At the end, it only depends on how you're going to take it. Locomotor is going to take you through hell, but it's also the module that you will enjoy the most. Playing with bones and palpating the arteries is going to become a fond memory that you will cherish. Spend and schedule your time wisely, leaving nothing for the end. Because if you can do it now, you won't be able to do it at the end as well. Solve as much practice questions as possible. In the theory paper of locomotor, you will have easily 50 questions of anatomy. I advise you to do anatomy at the very last because if you spend a lot of time on those 50 questions, which actually you will, you won't have time for the other parts or other sections of the paper. One more thing that I want to advise you is that most of the questions are clinical, like if the bone is damaged or fractured, which nerve is involved and what will that cause, what are the symptoms or what are the signs of the injury. So try to focus on understanding the clinicals rather than just learning them. The best way to do it is solving as much questions as possible. There are so many online question banks that you can use. One of it is MedAngle, other is Osmosis Question Bank or Amboss Question Bank. Make use of flashcards. There's so many available online. I've also linked them down below. Rather than making your own Anki cards, because I think making your own Anki cards is not as efficient as solving someone else's, because you tend to miss more when you make your own stuff and you're just repeating yourself. So if you do locomotor anatomy correctly and learn everything, it's gonna stick with you throughout the first year and the next year as well. So make sure that you spend your time wisely and make most of this module. That's it for this video. I will meet you with the rest of Locomotor in part 2.